Hello, this is Derek, and today I'm going to be talking more about my juiced scramblers. I have two of them, a camp scrambler, and I also have a city scrambler, and they're both pretty heavily modified, and they both have similar look generally, but quite different details. One thing that is the same on both, and that I've gotten a lot of requests for, is the rack on the back. Now, unfortunately, Juiced, at least right now, doesn't make a rack for the rear of the Scrambler. So if you want to do that, and people have been pretty creative mounting like handlebar baskets back there. I think there's a kind of a startup that's actually making a rack specific for the Scrambler, which is super cool, props to you, but it just didn't have the aesthetic that I was going for. I really wanted something that kind of matched or reflected the lines on the frame of the bike itself. I mean, it's such a cool design, and I couldn't find anything. I looked and I looked and I looked. Well, I finally found it on Amazon. Let me get out my phone here so I can give you all the details. I'll also put a link in the description here, so if this is something that you want to go for, just look there and I'll save you the hassle. But it is the Axiom MK3 Alu Journey Unifit Cycle Rear Rack. Now, essentially, it is a rack designed for a fat tire bicycle, and it's really heavily adjustable. It comes with two different size mounting brackets for the bottom of the rack to fix onto the frame by your wheel, and then the mounting rods on the top of the rack extend. You can change the pitch and the angle, and really bolt it to anything secure. So what I did is I mounted the bottom mounts to some of the holes that were already in the frame and made sure those were secure. And then I mounted the top rods, I guess, to the inside of the frame on the back side of the race plate panel that comes on the Scrambler. So completely hidden. Now the drawback to this is probably a third of my rack lives underneath my seat, so it's not very accessible. But I don't know if I would really want it out any further because it just seems to look right. So that would really be a personal preference. One thing that I made a point of doing both times I mounted these to my bikes is before I really ratcheted things down and tightened it up, I made sure that the angle of the rack matched the angle of the frame and was positioned in the middle of the bike. It is something you're probably going to have to bend it a little bit to make it fit just right. I did that by hand. It's not that difficult. But it is, when you're buying a $65 rack, a commitment. So beware of that. But it's worked great. There's no rattle when I ride. There's no wobble. It's secure and sturdy. I don't have any hesitation on putting, 20, 30 pounds on there, which is pretty decent. And there are a lot of saddlebags that you can fit on there. I have some chrome handlebar, jerry can bags on one of my bikes, which are great. Kind of expensive, but really worth every penny if you're into it. And the look is great. They're very well made, waterproof. Love it. And then for my other bike, since I didn't want to go that route twice, I just picked up some Army surplus bags, handlebar bags again, I think for mountain biking off of Amazon. And they were like, 10 or 15 bucks each. And they work great as well. So a lot you can do there. Really, really on top of boosting the look of the bike, it also makes it a lot more functional and practical for running errands or for bringing along like a tire change kit or, some things that you might not want to put in your pockets, but that you don't necessarily want to have to bring a backpack on every ride. So anyways, I hope you found this helpful. If so, please give me a thumbs up, and I will be back with more updates. Keep on scrambling.